Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu. Welcome to A Company of Heroes 2 Shoutcast. We have Chilty playing as the Ostherr versus General Rush playing as the Soviets. Chilty is a Company of Heroes shoutcaster who I have not really listened to because presumably he started shoutcasting back when I was already out of the thing, and he has decided to build, I remembered to turn on Numlock this time, a second Pioneer Squad, and I'm probably going to use this Pioneer Squad to build Tier 0, and we have a Conscript Squad out right off the bat from General Rush, so we know General Rush is not a noob. Hopefully Chilty is not a noob. We shall have to see. A lot of players like to build their buildings sort of near the edge of their base, because that way you can walk to it and reinforce to it. I think it'd be more helpful up here if you end up spawning here, right? Because then you could move units over here and reinforce them there. Doesn't really matter so much over here. And we have a MG out first from Chilty, so that's interesting. Just going to use his two Pioneer Squads to establish a hold on the map and then stick the MG somewhere. So this middle point is often where you're going to see people send their machine gun, because you can be fairly assured that your opponent's going to walk through it. But honestly, they don't have to, right? So the north is where this eastmost player can send their units without having to bother going through the middle, and then they can also go to the south if they want to slog through the water. I think my sound is too quiet. Let's bump that up a little bit. Yoink. Back and back. If you want to go through the water, it takes a while, but you'll make it there eventually. This map is dumb. They should just get rid of the water. This is not making the map more fun. This is not making the map more fun. And this is not making the map more fun. Things should be mobile and fast and stuff. So one of the reasons Chilty may have gone for the Pioneers is to wire this off right off the bat. It's going to let him lock down this bridge with his MG-42 if he wants to do that. And then the opponent's really not getting into the middle except from the top or from the bottom. And the bottom's a fairly circuitous route, so it's going to take a while. Let's keep the TAC map open for a while. Check out these players' capping orders. Is the Soviet going to pause around here? Yes, Soviets are pausing here, it looks like, to pick up this munitions point, and it looks like they can capture it just by standing right on the edge, even though technically nobody seems to be within the circle. I guess, like, maybe this guy's toe is doing the capturing, it looks like. And we have our first engagement of the match down here, Pioneers versus Conscripts. Pioneers gonna lose this match almost certainly. The Conscripts could hop that fence and get some green cover. Couldn't hurt. And yep, there we go. So look, good. Finally some players who are doing competent things with their units and not just being idiots at each other. So Pioneer's going to stick around to grab this field. Totally worth it. It's going to make it harder for the Soviets to cap it, and also it's going to most obviously secure the fuel for the Ostherr, which means he's going to get some fuel income. These two ships are passing in the wind, and Ostherr is going to be able to hold on to this for quite a while. Why did you hop over the fence? Did your units just walk around on their own? I have a feeling they might have done that. Or maybe he hopped over the fence because he was planning on taking this fuel point, but then the Grenadiers showed up and whatever. So we have quick tech to Molotov cocktails, and this is going to force these Grenadiers to reposition. Or if Chilty's not paying enough attention, he's going to take some real damage here. They're really low health now, and one of them does indeed die. So we'll have to see if Chilty can still win this fight with a small hurt Pioneer Squad and a hurt Grenadier Squad. These guys should definitely hop the wall. Green cover would be helpful. Green cover seems to be a lot less useful than it was. Yes, a lot less useful than it was in the original Company of Heroes. Cover seems to matter a bit less for infantry engagements and stuff like that, but certainly it couldn't hurt to get that. So Chilty seems to be focusing on the victory points up north, and this engineer seemed to be focused on that strategic point down there. So that's cool. Doing some good damage to these Grenadiers, but now a second Grenadier Squad is coming, and this is going to force off the Conscript. So you really got to hand it to the Soviets and for Chilty to stick around down here. And good move with these Soviets bringing in these two Conscript Squads. Once he sees Chilty's stuff, oh, Kinder Party likes my voice. Once he sees Chilty's stuff, he's going to beeline out there. And nice hopping over that fence before the retreat. That's a very good choice, because this fence is closed in over here, so the retreat pathing would have to have gone, like, out through here. So that's no good. By the way, Kinder Party was once, like, I think #1 for Panzer Elite in Company Heroes 2 for a while on the ladder, so he's a pretty good player. It's weird that the Soviet hasn't repositioned this Conscript Squad. I guess he's busy doing other stuff. Going for Tier 1 of the Soviets. Chilty's busy up here, Soviets busy up here, so everyone's busy doing other stuff, it seems like. Wherever I look, I'm seeing these players not microing what they ought to be microing. That was a nice rifle grenade by these Grenadiers. Oh my goodness, that killed like 4 people maybe. Something like that. So that's going to be very damaging to the Soviets. They might still win this fight. These Grenadiers are at fairly low health, and these Conscripts are brand new, but That was just painful. These guys have 6 kills already, and that's a nice... and here's the Molotov. Look, he does a little hoppity-hop before he throws, so that's cool. And that forces the Grenadiers to move and reposition, so while they're moving, they're a little more vulnerable because they're not in cover, and I think their accuracy goes down when you're moving. Nice flames here. Poor Chilty was not able to micro his Pioneers well enough. If he had, he wouldn't have just let him sit here for quite a long time. Maybe they would have been able to move out and get some other stuff capped. So this machine gun really weirdly positioned. I don't know, hasn't done anything the entire match as far as I can tell. Has not contributed at all to the war effort. So if there's one thing we can fault Chilty on, it's not using his MG-42 to full effect. Had his MG-42 been down here the entire time, like the Soviets, instead of this being a rolling battle the entire time, and sometimes the Soviets win and boom, nice grenade, but it doesn't do anything. Sometimes being, sometimes one person on top, sometimes the other. Instead of that, it would have been completely in the Ostheer's favor. And so it hasn't even seen, you wired this off, so it's like the chances of your MG-42 seeing combat are very low. Someone has to come down from here, down the middle, and try and get across the bridge, and then they have to get really far across the bridge before you're going to be able to shoot at them. So, not sure I agree with Chilty's machine gun positioning here. Looks like we have some mines going down by the Soviets, so that's always a cool use of munitions. Let's swap over to General Rush and see how he's doing. He's got a lot of fuel saved up, so this Tier 1 is just being used for a sniper that we have out, and there's the sniper team going around. And we have a fairly even map control. Like I said, the bottom's been ping-ponging back between the two. Ostheer has had a hold on the middle of the map for quite a while, but that doesn't get you anything except for a victory point. So given that we see the 2 victory points are basically even by both players, it's not a big deal. And thinking, forward thinking, spending some mines to put them down here because eventually the Ostheer is going to come through. But I can't help but think that maybe instead of spending the 30 munitions on that mine, he could have saved it and dumped 30 munitions plus another 30 into flamethrowers because they cost 60. That would have given him much more firepower with this engineer squad. They can maybe move in and kill this grenadier squad. As it stands, when they try and cross this bridge, they're probably going to get into a fight that they can't win. So let's hotkey this sniper squad, Control 1, so we can keep an eye. And we have the first vehicle out by Chilty. It's a scout car, so this is out from Tier 1. Yes, Tier 1. This is Tier 1. This is Tier 0. Remember that, okay? I'm making up names for these things now. So has the sniper gotten any kills? Okay, I hotkeyed the sniper to 1, but then I switched players and that went away. And now you can't, god damn, oh yes, you can hotkey enemy units? I don't know. Maybe you lose your hotkeys when you switch players. Anyways, the sniper finally has a kill, and Chilty sees that in time, and that's very good, and retreats. You do, of course, get a notification when it says unit sniped, and if you click on this notification, it will zoom to the sniper. So just keep clicking that notification, and you'll know exactly where the enemy sniper is, so you can hunt them down and kill them. So, luckily for Chilty, this armored car has not run over any of the copious mines laid by the Soviets, but it's only a matter of time. We have Tier 3 going up by the Soviets, so that's for T-34s, T-70s, and the larger half-track. The larger half-track, I don't know, it's probably a little late in the game to put people in flamethrowers and drive them around. You can upgrade it with the quad AA gun on the top, but who knows how good that is. The T-70 is kind of a piece of shit, and the T-34, however, is stupendous for its price, so that's good. Chilty has bought a Pak-40 a while ago, though, and we have some Teller mines down, so they're both mining both sides of this thing. So here's the thing to know about mine, is the normal Soviet mine is sort of good against everything. I think it says it's supposed to be an anti-vehicle mine, but it totally works against infantry. Does some good damage. These guys are going to oorah up and probably throw a grenade, and as long as you're in range when you throw the grenade will... Oh, just kidding. Did that grenade disappear? It's so fucking hard to tell when people throw things. Okay, original company heroes, there's a grenade. That was damaging. Oh, loses a squad. That's really bad, and now these snipers might be in trouble. Original company heroes, a sticky bomb, if you threw it, you knew they threw a sticky bomb or something like that. There was a bright white line going from the sticky bomb to wherever they threw it. Company heroes 2, good fucking luck figuring out who threw something where or why. Did a grenade disappear halfway to the scout car? I couldn't even tell if it threw the grenade or not. I thought they threw the grenade, so I guess it disappeared magically, but this game has serious readability issues, Relic. You just... I don't know what's wrong with you. So that scout car got bogged down in the water, wasn't able to chase the sniper down. Good for the Soviets. Bad for the Soviets is losing that squad. And I feel like maybe lost another squad somewhere, or maybe the Soviets just haven't been building very much the entire games, focusing instead on taking up teching up, not tanking up, although teching up is something you need to do if you want to tank up, and I'm sure the Soviets will be tanking up soon from the tank of a battalion command. Hooray! Yeah, how come the Soviets don't have any units? Have I just been not... He must have lost another conscript squad while I wasn't paying attention because I'm a stupid person. That's gotta be what it is, because there's no... Look at what the Wehrmacht's got. The Wehrmacht's got a half-track and a... Well, let's just swap back over to Chilty. Wehrmacht's got a half-track and a scout car and 3 grenadiers and 2 pioneers and a machine gun and a AT gun, and the machine gun is still here, not doing anything. And that grenade, see how inconsistent these grenades are? That's kind of an annoying thing. Explosives have always been sorted. Look, they're throwing an AT grenade, but that time they didn't do it. Yeah, I don't know if I'd rush up like this. I don't know what your plan is. Maybe a Molotov? Yeah, when the people are right out in the open like this, chances of a Molotov doing anything are very, very small. So I don't know. So I, aside from not using his MG-42 for anything, I have to say Chilty's been doing a pretty good job. We have an LMG-42 upgraded by these grenadiers over here in these woods near the south, and I'm not sure what the purpose of the half-track is. Maybe it's just to reinforce. So we have shock troops chosen. The doctrine chosen by General Rush is shock troops and anti-tank sort of cloaking stuff, then incendiary barrage, then KV-8 flamethrower tank, then IS-2. So it's not a horrible doctrine. The shock troops are kind of neat. They're really good if you can get them in close, upgrade them with the PPSH. But as you can see, they're clearly not up to killing the scout car, despite doing some fairly good damage to it. They're just taking too much damage. So it's tough to cross this river on your own, because this is all red cover right here, and it's perfect for getting shot down. Why is this MG-42 not doing anything? Nobody has hit a mine yet. We have a mine here and a mine here, recall, for the Soviets, and a mine here for the Wehrmacht. I'm enjoying this game so far. Not a lot of hot, fast, frenzied action, but I think both players are making good choices and stuff. Where's Chilty's Pack 40? There we go. So the Pack 40 is ready for anything coming across the bridge and hitting the mine and getting destroyed. Oh, I forgot to talk about mines. I started talking about mines and I got sidetracked. So the Soviet mine, let's click on the engineers now that we're over on the Soviets. The Soviet mine says it's effective against tanks and light vehicles, can be triggered by infantry. So really what it should just say is effective against tanks, light vehicles, and infantry, right? Because if infantry trigger it, chances are they're going to blow up and die. So that happens, and that's the thing. So those are the Soviet mines. Here we have a sniper getting shot at by grenadiers, and retreat, so that's unfortunate. Maybe could have done some damage to them because they're down to 2 people, but didn't want to risk it. So that's the Soviet mines. The Wehrmacht have 2 kinds of mines. Let's swap over to Chilty now. Or not the Wehrmacht, the Ostherr, I'm sorry. The Ostherr have the Teller mines. They're anti-tank, only triggered by vehicles, quite powerful, so those are really good against enemy vehicles. They have the S minefield, lackluster for... Oh, we got a Pack 40 set up, and that was a nice shot by the Pack 40. Lackluster, and this T-34 is maybe going to hit the mines? Nope. Run, T-34. So it's good that he's running this T-34 away. Unfortunately, took 2 or 3 Panzerfausts in the rear, so that took out the engine, and this might be in trouble if he runs into these guys, but they're not being upgraded with their Panzerschreck, so they won't be able to hurt it. The S minefield is lackluster for the Ostherr because it's like a literal minefield complete with fucking warning signs, right? If your opponent's paying attention, they can see the little, like, Achtung, minefield sign on the ground. There's no, like, UI indicator, but there's little minefield signs. So, like, anyone with a brain is going to be able to go around it. It's not completely useless because the AI will not path around it, so the AI will just walk into it if you don't babysit your units, but it's still, like, stupid. Like, no, explain to me... No, it's dumb. So we have a Panzerfaust from these badass grenadiers. They've killed a tank and 7 infantry. That's only good for 1 point of vet right now. And that was unfortunate use of the T-34. So he couldn't really do much because we had fantastic Pack 40 positioning by Chilty, keeping it where the action was happening. And remember, he had it originally up here, but then he moved it all the way down here by the time the Pack 40, or by the time the T-34 engagement happened. So good prediction there. We'll have to see what Chilty does with the rest of his fuel. He's still only at Tier 1, and there's not a lot to spend the fuel on Tier 1. Both of these half-tracks and half-cars are fairly cheap in terms of fuel costs. So, and so we see the small arms fire doing a fair amount of damage to the half-tracks. This is even more than they did in the original Company of Heroes. So the original Company of Heroes, the Panzer Elite vehicles could typically be damaged by small arm fire pretty easily. For the rest, for Wehrmacht half-tracks and What are these people doing? They're just running around all the time. This is so dumb. They just stop and fire and unload your guns. Something, maybe buggy or something. Is there any fight going on here? No. So for the other stuff, like the Wehrmacht half-track and the U.S., the Greyhound, the U.S. half-track, they could be damaged by small arms fire whenever the small arms fire penetrated. And so it's a % chance to penetrate every time you shoot somebody. This happens even against infantry, so when a man shoots a man, the bullet has a chance to quote-unquote penetrate the armor. And often it does penetrate, but it's not all the time. And so when you're fighting a half-track or something, typically your bullets would not penetrate, right? And when they did, they wouldn't do much damage. But typically they would not penetrate. But so fast-firing guns like BARs, Browning Automatic Rifles, would give you a lot of bullets, which means a lot of chances to penetrate. So if you wanted to kill like a Wehrmacht half-track that was at really low health, you would sort of shoot at it with riflemen that had bars, and that would sort of do the job for you. These combat engineers need to move up. Still the MG-42 barely being utilized, not even set up right now. So in Company Heroes 2, it looks like small arms fire does manage to penetrate with not too much difficulty against scout cars and stuff like that. And so you can get some damage in. You see this half-track has also been hurt by fighting these shock troops. But, oof, we have a chase happening. Again, the water seems to save the sniper. Look, these guys finally moved, but it might be a little too late. You gonna burn these people? Yep, you're dead. Got hit by a bullet. Okay. So, yeah, so I guess you can reinforce half-tracks. They did not take that out, in case you were curious. Here comes a satchel demolition. I think it's a satchel charge? What's it called? The shock troops. No, the Penal Battalion gets the satchel charge. The shock troops get the anti-personnel grenade and the smoke grenade, so they're pretty cool. And these guys won the fight. That's exciting. So, yeah, you can still kill enemy vehicles and stuff with small arms fire. It'll take forever, but you'll get some damage in on them, and so that's just good if they're at really low health or something, and you just want to finish them off. But it seems to be more than the original Company Heroes. Typically, vehicles just in this game seem to have more, or less health than they do in the original Company of Heroes. Tanks have less health, they die to fewer AT gunshots. Light vehicles have less health, light tanks have less health. These people need to move out, don't stick around in the Soviet base. Notice the Soviet has bought healing at his base, and the Wehrmacht, or the Ostheer, has bought healing at his base. You're seeing this a lot from good players. Pretty much everybody ends up buying the healing stuff at their base, especially the Soviets, but often the Ostheer too. So keep that in mind if you want to be a good player. Chances are you're going to, at some point, buy the healing thing back at your base. It's, of course, good because if you send your people out at full health, they're going to be able to fight longer. That grenade landed directly on that man, so now he's got a stomach ache. And so these shock troops are kind of misleading. They're supposed to be like, they've got aggressive spirit with light body armor for close range assaults. Their resiliency is not really, like, tremendous and stupendous compared to other people, so the way resiliency works doesn't estimate. Only kill the guy. Again, like I said, explosion's inconsistent. The way, yeah, crush those guys. The way resiliency for infantry works in Company Heroes 2 is pretty fucked up compared to the original Company Heroes. In the original Company of Heroes, there were two things going on. Well, okay, forget the original. We don't need to go super in-depth. Here's how it works in Company Heroes 2. Everybody has 80 health, okay? Shock Troop has 80 health. Each of these guys has 80 health. Each of these crew members on the Pak-40 has 80 health. These people in here are about to be crushed by the T-34. If the T-34 knows what's good for it, but no, it's just gonna get panzer-fasted. Have 80 health. All the infantry, they have 80 health, or 60. I'm pretty sure it's 80. What sets the infantry apart is its armor value, right? It's got to be it. And I think, do they have different kinds of armor, or do they just have one? God, I got to go check Company Heroes 2 stats, the website. I'm pretty sure it's different. No, so in Company Heroes 1, it was different types of armor. You would have various kinds of armor, and I know they sort of removed that in Company Heroes 2 by taking out the target tables. So the target tables were the things that give different guns different accuracies versus different kinds of armor. And so this was why, for example, tanks failed grenade, although it set off that, I don't know. This is what made AT guns and stuff very inaccurate against infantry and so on and so forth. That's gone, so now you can shoot AT guns at infantry with a fair degree of success. It's not perfect, obviously, but you'll hit people every once in a while. We have a tier 2 coming up from the Germans, and Chilty has rolled his Pack 40 all the way back into this base. And now he's probably going to be able to take out this T-34, which has been ineffectually driving around ever since it got its engine damage because it was not smart enough to run over these people before they fausted it. The T-34 is managing to shoot the Pack 40, but unfortunately we're in the Ost-Heer base, which means it can just recruit. And so we have a sort of lame circle strafe going on, but with a dead engine, I think it's probably a matter of time till this is killed. And yeah, reposition Pack 40 takes it out. Excellent, excellent. Like in the game, but Soviets need to do better with their tank preservation. What you want is a critical mass of T-34s. The critical mass of T-34s is important because it will ram any enemy tanks that show up, and because more is always better. But instead, we just have piecemeal. Every time a T-34 dies, another one comes out to replace it. That's not going to get you the critical mass you need. They need to be able to support each other and be teammates and bros, or broettes. Is this a woman? Yep, this is a lady T-34. So see, there's women inside those, so it's not just T-34s or bros. Yeah, you want a critical mass, and Chilty has just been doing a really great job with his one AT gun. See how much... Oop, this is not the one AT gun, this is the other guy. Oh, he's got two AT guns. Psych. Okay, but Chilty's been doing a fairly good job with his two AT guns, using them to beat back the Soviet tide of armor, and this is another reason why it's important to have multiple T-34s, right? If you just have one T-34, one AT gun, if it gets a few lucky shots in, you'll be doomed. But if you have another T-34, you can retreat with the one getting shot at, and then circle strafe with the other one, which will have sort of a free reign to circle strafe while its friend is busy getting shot at. So that's it's important to have multiple T-34s for lots of reasons. Might even lose this double vet squad, but they're getting out. Now we have a flame half-track upgraded. It's sort of bad timing for Chilty because we have a Zis 3 anti-tank gun and a T-34 coming in. But Chilty's got his AT gun set up, so this is bad news for the Soviets. He's got to decide what to do with it. Don't stop, and maybe don't reverse directly in the way that this is in the line of fire. This is bad for the Soviets. Look at, see, that was, I'm pretty sure, 3 shots. I'm fairly certain that was 3 shots, all of them from the front. Maybe it was 4 if this one got a shot in, but clearly very, very few shells to kill tanks and stuff in Company Heroes 2. And there goes the engineer squad. So between the conscript squad that he lost earlier and the many T-34s that he's lost and the engineer that he just lost, I think the Soviets losing the war of attrition slowly but surely. And I think Chilty will probably be able to take this as long as he doesn't make huge mistakes. This thing needs to go in and roast these guys because they don't have any AA. Did I say AA? I of course meant AT. And here comes the purifying cleansing flames, but not in time to save the AT gun. It's no big deal because these pioneers can reinforce or recrew this thing and then reinforce by the half-track. So no chance there for that Soviet offensive. And still these mines haven't gone off. Chilty did lose his light thingy, his scout car on these mines, so that's good. And these mines still haven't gone off. So we still wait. And I'm really surprised that we've gone 23 minutes and this wire is still up in the middle. So I'm not sure if you can crush wire. God damn relic. When did this die? I hope I was there when it died. So you, at one point, at least in the alpha, you could not crush wire. You could drive over it with tanks and it would flatten the wire and that would just spring back up again when you drove over. And that's, I think, realistic, more or less. But it's just really dumb because you couldn't even, like, one of the main ways of getting past wire before you could upgrade wire cutters, or before you didn't have to upgrade wire cutters in Company Heroes, was to crush it. Then they took out, they upgrade the wire cutters because they realized it was stupid, but that's back in Company Heroes 2, and it looks like even crush is gone. So that's just boneheaded in every sense of the word. Just bad stuff. So we have a tier 3 up, tier 0, tier -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, yes. Tier 3 up, the Heavy Panzer Corps, or Corpse. If it starts with a K, is it a corpse or a core? Okay, because Relic's making up words again, or is that how you spell it in German? Auf Deutsch, as they say in German, or Auf Deutsch. And we have Panther. So Panther, first thing it's going to do is it's going to slot itself nice and happily into here. It's just going to chill out for a while. Meanwhile, this is going to go on one of those wild goose chases, hunt down some infantry. Ooh, that was a pretty flame explosion. There were like blue flames and stuff. And it's a nice little circle of fire. You ever see circles of like mushrooms growing? They call them like fairy rings or something. I think he tried to crush the wire, but it didn't happen. Yeah, sometimes mushrooms grow in like a circle. It's funny. So fire is like that. And this IS-2 mine detected. Who detected it? He's bought mine detectors. This IS-2 is gonna get so there goes the IS-2's engine. And now, even though from the front, typically you don't think an AT gun is gonna do much, we're gonna be able to see how precisely effective it is. Down here we have an assault. Not so great. So actually the AT gun is getting pretty unlucky. All the shots bouncing off the front. And finally the tank is driving past. We have another, though, AT gun backing it up. Not angled perfectly well. It's sort of outside the cone of fire. So Chilty is on the ball, repositioning both these. This IS-2 is just being a dumb as motherfuck. What are you doing? What are you actually trying to do with this? Because you're dead. Okay, did anyone not see that coming? You hit a mine here, and then so your solution was let's drive through the AT guns slowly and deliberately until I get destroyed? That was... He must have had something planned. I don't know. There must have been something there. I guess he wanted to circle strafe this AT gun, and then it turned out there's another AT gun, and he's like, well, I'm committed already? I don't know. This isn't really something you can circle strafe because it's backed up against the woods, so you have to like half circle strafe it. When your engine's already damaged from the mines, I wouldn't even risk it. Just pull back when you hit a mine, when your engine's damaged with one of these heavy tanks. Pull back, and I can't tell if Chilty's chosen a doctrine yet. I think he hasn't, though. I think it would show up if he chose one. So, choose the doctrine, Chilty. I'm not sure if there's any reason not to choose a doctrine ASAP in Company Heroes 2. In Company Heroes 1, if you accumulated 2 or more command points without choosing a doctrine, your command point income would go down. So it would be slower to earn income after that. And so you didn't want to bank command points too much, even once you had chosen a doctrine. And also, once you got 2, you'd probably want to choose a doctrine, because that way you can spend some... You won't be able to spend any command points until you finally choose a doctrine. So that was typically the first time you would be forced to choose a doctrine. So I'm not sure if that mechanic is still here in Company Heroes 2. If it is, then you'll want to choose a doctrine once you get 2 CPs, unless you have really good reason for waiting. Doctrines are a lot less influential, I would say. There's kind of one good one for the Wehrmacht. It's the one that lets you interrogate dead people. Sorry for the Ostherr. It's the one that lets you interrogate dead people. The Soviets have a bit more of a choice. I always go for one that lets you in the dirt. We have a incendiary barrage probably coming down on this thing, and Chilty sees it and moves, taking very little damage. The fire is the thing that does the real damage, and Soviets in trouble. This Panther's been taking some hits from the AT gun for quite a while, but that's just going to serve to allow Chilty to move in with his infantry, and probably this half-track. We'll have to see what he's microing right now. Probably trying to save his tank. Oh, play back over. So the Soviets give up. The end. So I would say unit preservation #1 for the Soviets. He did lose that conscript squad, and from there balloons. #2, try and get a critical mass of T-34s, and instead of like suiciding one into the base, and I think he did something stupid with another one, and maybe, I don't know what killed this third, maybe that was the first thing stupid. In any case, try and preserve your T-34s more and use them sort of as a group. They're best when spammed. Don't throw away your IS-2. That could have been a huge game changer, but instead all it did was decrew an AT gun, so that was a big waste. He OP'd both of these fuels, or turned both of these OPs into fuels, and now he's floating 120 fuel. If you're sucking down fuel like that as the Soviets, I think the best thing to do is not to buy an IS-2 with all that fuel you're sucking down. For the price of an IS-2, 210, you can get almost 2 T-34s, like 1.5 or something, and even more than 1.5. And yeah, 210 versus 75. You can get 3 T-34s. What am I doing? For the price of that IS-2, you can get 3 T-34s. I cannot think of a situation where an IS-2 is worth more than 3 T-34s. So a fuel-heavy strategy by the Soviets, not a horrific idea on its own, but I don't think that fuel should go into an IS-2 at this point. I think T-34s are just so much better than everything else. That's what I would recommend. This doctrine, I don't know, whatever. But that was a good game. You know, nothing surprising, pretty basic stuff. Unit preservation. As far as Chilty goes, I would say use your MG-42 better. That's the tip I would give. And hope you all enjoy this, and I'll see you, I don't know, some other day.